Hey everybody, welcome back. KF&JF podcast is always out there. We've been doing the same thing over the last month or so, just pulling people in to bring out their stories to you. And we're so happy today that we have a gentleman that I am so happy that he's taking the time to come on the show and talk about his product. It's one of those things that the podcast is so, dedicated to, is making sure that we can show all kinds of different things on our show to help bring our entrepreneurs out there and their product to uplift them. So also I want to make sure I thank you guys again. This is one of those things that helps us to keep the show on, and that's you going out to thejoybeloved.com and making those purchases that helps us to be able to fund this show and put things together each and every week. And we're so proud of you for doing that. And also subscribing, viewing, and all those things that help us to stay on the air. And I can't thank you guys enough for doing that and really appreciate it. So I'm going to take this time right now to say, hey, here comes the co-host.
Greetings. My name is Razak. I am the CEO and founder of United Minority Business Ventures. My purpose is to help small businesses grow. This means I will assist with the creative process and maintenance of your business. The method to achieve results is simply building a deeper relationship with your customers. I do this by forming opportunities to communicate and collaborate with your followers, subscribers, and other business owners. By using a wide range of networking tools, we will have an understanding for building your business profile, what type of social media marketing fits your productivity and your availability, and building your financial profile, branding your services, product, or merchandise. Together, we may also determine what type of license is needed to operate your business. And does your budget permit the ownership of your own domain or buying into pre existing sites that host your page? I like to drive traffic by managing your website. This allows me to work with you to select posts that create subscriptions, comments, and likes. I also assist by generating comments on other individual business sites or a page that create a dialogue of conversation directed towards your page. I also assist with the creation of the content on your media site. This will be a collaboration of ideas which will reflect on your brand, your work ethics, and the community's need to know what you have to offer them to bring a better quality of comfort to their lives and lifestyle. I can also assist with the writing of content, directing your videos, the editing process, and publishing them on various sites for marketing purposes, advertising, and promotional value.
Yeah, man. I think, like I said before and said many times, guys, we really appreciate you guys, out there, but also thanking Razak for all of the things that he's doing to bring the show together, to bring our listeners and viewers and entrepreneurs opportunity, the opportunities for them to be able to succeed in their business. But, this show is not about us to the extent we want to make it. It's about our guest. And let's introduce or have him introduce himself today, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you guys. It's good to be here. I thank you for the opportunity to be here at the podcast with KF and JF. My name is Sam Lucio with California, and we basically sell beef jerky. We sell salsa macha, and yeah, I mean it's great when Keith approached me over at one of the events that we had, told me that he had this podcast with his partner Zach. It's very exciting, honestly. I think it's the first time I'm in a podcast, so still getting used to the way we work, but I'm excited to be here, and it's definitely a great opportunity for us to not only meet you guys but connect with like-minded people and network and learn from you guys from your experiences as well.
Yeah, I think you said the right thing, man. I think the word network is a big part of what this show is about. We're trying to build a network for other entrepreneurs, but also the ones that are in and have been on the show to learn from each other and use each other, right? Because this is a community of people that we want to share and spend money and do things with people that we know that are like-minded. So I'm really thankful that you mentioned it in that way, because that is a really big part of what we're trying to do. So we're going to get this show started, man. It's time to find out why you in business and what you're doing. My first question to you is pretty simple. Tell us something unique about you. Tell us something about you that nobody knows, and you can share with us.
Well, something unique about me. Let's see. I've experienced a lot of things through my short, not so short, my somewhat short time here in this earth. I think a lot of the experiences that we've had, that we've gone through, there some of them are a little difficult. Sometimes we've had difficult times. Sometimes we've had good times. But I think it's important to share with people, because the experiences that I've had are not the same experiences that somebody else has had, but we can always learn from each other. Things that I've gone through, things that you've gone through, or other people have gone through, when we share, we can learn and we can overcome obstacles. This is a great thing. We can overcome obstacles without even having to to fail in the past at what we've done, because we've networked with people that have faced those same obstacles and they've overcame them. And by learning from them, we can do the same thing. We can overcome obstacles. Uh, and that's something I wouldn't say that people don't necessarily know about me, but I like to take knowledge from other people. I like to learn, no matter how much experience I might have on something, no matter how much knowledge I might have on something. I'm always willing to learn. I'm always willing to listen, and I know that no matter how much more experience that you might have or less experience that I you might have, I can always learn something from you.
That's a very good, powerful way of trying to educate people and having them realize that there's always something you can gain from someone else. And I have a couple questions, and I'm gonna pass it over to Razak to get his views on some things going forward. But tell me how you came about the name of the business. What was the basis for that, and how did you decide on that name?
So it took us a little bit of time. We went through a sort of a creative process, if you will, trying to find the right name. Uh, would it be Sam's Jerky? Would it be, I don't know, whatever other name, right? But something that's important to me is who we are. We're not only Americans, but we're Californians. We care about our people here in California just as much as we care about our communities. So one thing that I wanted to make sure is that we took those flavors from California, those that culture of California, and put that into our products, because we want to make sure that our people can not only make a connection with our products, but taste our beef jerky, for example, and say, hey, this is a familiar taste. I know I've had this type of whether it's a carne asada or some salsa that my mom used to make that connection. So with that in mind, we said, hey, you know what? Let's just take on our state and make that our name, El California. So the state of California is the name, but once you add that O at the end, El California, that would be, for example, me, Sam. I am not California, but I am a California, and that's where the name came from.
Wow, man, I like the way you talk about community. I like the way you talk about how that is important to you. So I guess my question is a little deep in that area. Is that how do you, or have you dealt with any issues with being, part of the minority community? Have your business or people, how did you work through that, or was there any issues with you as you started your business?
I think there are, and some of the biggest issues, I think, being a minority is that, in a way, in a sense, our background is different. I didn't, for example, I don't have a father, for example, that had a business in the past. So this is something that I'm having to learn on my own. How do you manage the accounting of a business? How do you manage how much money you put towards back into your business? How much money can you actually use towards taking care of your daily life, taking care of your family? So I think that's one of the challenges, if not the biggest challenge, that this whole going into business is completely new ground for me. There's no while like I said, I can still learn things. Go to my father, have a question, how can I do this? That specific question of how do we run this business, how do we make it successful, that's something that we're having to go to outside sources and just kind of learn on the go. Basically, I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we're facing. That it is completely new ground that we're walking right now.
I think that you're right about that. In a lot of different minority communities, that is the biggest thing, because not every part of our family was in business. Not everybody we know understands all of the rules and regulations of business. So we do have to reach outside of our family or other people to do that. But there's some basic things that the family can give you that is something that's is stronger. How to be true to what you do, that. And I think that in your product and your snacks, I see that. So I'm going to get a little bit more into that. So I'm going to pass it over to Razak to be able to ask those questions for you.
All right. Pleasure to have you on the show. I'm one of those guys that used to eat beef jerky back in the day, so be interesting to see how the process is going on. So uh, can you share with us uh, your favorite recipe or a dish that you love to create?
From the line of products that we have, I think for me, it's always going to be the OG, the very first flavor that I came up with. I've always liked spicy, spicy food. So that OG peppered flavor, it's I would say is my favorite. It's one that I have, as you would say, down to the T. Always. I even make it for myself. Matter of fact, if you were to go to a California IG right now and you go to the story, I put a picture of me holding a piece of jerky that I was eating right before our podcast today, and I think that would be that recipe. That's the one that chef's kiss, as they say.
I hear that. I hear that. Okay, so I don't know if this applies, but how do you stay up to date with the latest food trends and the techniques?
So it all comes back down to networking, not only networking but researching. For example, on social media platforms, on Instagram, on TikTok, we also listen to our customers. Some of my closest friends are my customers as well, and they've mentioned, hey, what if you add this ingredient, or what if you make a beef jerky that has this certain flavor. So that's how we, by listening to our community, by listening to our customers, we can come up with flavors that they actually want. I know that one of the recent ones, it's our salsa matchas. It's a big hit. A lot of people like it. So in conversations with a buddy of mine, he said, "Hey, what if you made a beef jerky in salsa matcha?" And I told him, "Hey, you know what? I actually have one. It's been a pretty good seller. We bring it as a limited time item here and there, but it's basically our smoky fuego, and that's how we come up with different flavors. Looking at social media, for example, as I mentioned, TikTok, what's trending, what kind of flavors are people looking for right now? How can we then take that flavor, give it the California twist, and bring it to you and to our customers?"
Okay, okay, that's interesting. Um, can you okay now to date from the beginning that you started your business to the present time right now today? Can you tell us about the most uh, rememberable experience that you have had creating your business? My voice just went out. Creating your business.
I would say creating. I think the most memorable, it's actually when the business came about, because it's not something that I didn't wake up one day and said, I'm gonna make a beef jerky business. It's the journey to getting to that point where I said, hey, let's turn this into a business. I think that's the most amazing thing. I like beef jerky. I know a lot of people do, but I got tired of buying that commercial beef jerky and always getting. And I've said this to people at the events that I've been to when I describe the product. I get tired of getting that lotiony flavor on certain brands, and that lotiony flavor that you get in your mouth is from all the preservatives that they add, citric acid and all this other stuff. So I said one day, why don't I just make my own beef jerky so I can eat it at home? I started researching, how to make the beef jerky. Started researching what flavors I would like to have on it. I knew I wanted something spicy, so I started making up a spicy recipe. I put together my first batch of beef jerky, and I snacked on it at home. My family, they saw me and they wanted a bit too, so I shared it with them and they liked it. The next time I made beef jerky, I made enough where I could take some to a couple of buddies at work, and they tried the beef jerky. They liked it, and they said, "Sam, this is good stuff. If you start making this, we'll buy it from you." And that's just kind of like where the business came from. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to have business. I've had some businesses in the past that I wouldn't say they have not been successful, but they have not been my biggest hit. And sometimes it's funny how we just kind of stumble into the what's going to be the it stumble into that one business that actually you feel a different type of connection with, and you think to yourself, I think this is the one. I think this is the one that I'm going to stick with, and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to push, and I'm going to give it 100% because there's just something different about this business as opposed to the other small ventures that I've had in the past. And that just getting to that point where I said, this is what I'm going to run with right now. I think that's the most memorable experience that I've had so far.
Okay. Okay. Is there a time when you had to overcome challenges or obstacles in creating the business and getting yourself out there, getting your name out there?
I would say yes. Social media, it's obviously a big part of what we do. My background professionally, it's in social media management and helping the businesses that I've worked with in the past kind of get their social media up and running and always sharing material and content. But I think that was one of the biggest challenges for me because you're used to doing it for somebody else, and you're used to already having the material. You can go out there and get photos, you can go out there and get video, but creating something from scratch, I think it was a challenge trying to figure out, I guess I would say, our voice. Not only that, but our logo. What's going to be our logo? How are we going to present ourselves? What sort of direction do we want to take? Do we want to be that aggressive brand that kind of features, uh, big impressive things, or do we want to be more of a brand that the normal person can connect with? My beef jerky, it's something that, yeah, if you're into motocross, if you're into dirt biking, yeah, go ahead and grab a piece of beef jerky and go out there and do what you love. But also, if you're just a construction worker or a laborer that's out there in the heat, sweating and working hard, and you feel like you need a little something to pick you up and give you that extra energy, go ahead and grab our beef jerky, take a bite. It'll get you through the day. And that's the type of connection, and that's one of the challenging things that I had, because I said, how can I present this in a way where person A and person B can both enjoy and feel a connection with my brand?
If one of these foods was your personality, what would it be? Like one of the ones that you make?
I think that's that's a great question. Let me see. So, like I said, I like spicy food. Obviously, it's flavorful, right? So the OG I mentioned, I made for me. That was the first flavor I created. I want this to be something I could eat for myself. But then I have also the smoky fuego, and that I can't. I wouldn't say it because I'm not like a fiery person. I'm not. Smoky fuego. It's gonna give you a nice kick, but in a way, I guess it would represent me because I've always been the type of person that I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to make a connection with anybody. If you're willing to open up and reach out to me and give me your hand, hey, I'll reach out to you and grab your hand. And that OG pepper flavor, it's something that anybody can eat. It's not super spicy. Matter of fact, it's a funny story. I have a customer that they actually buy a bag of that OG pepper. They bag three. They buy one for the husband, one for the wife, and one for the 3-year-old. And I said, your 3-year-old is eating the OG pepper? And he told me, yeah, he loves this stuff. We had to buy him his own bag because he wouldn't let us have our own. So yeah, I think the OG pepper would be it.
Well, I heard that. Yeah, yeah. Some beef jerky is pretty good. I can definitely identify with that. Not
Crazy,
many
bro.
share.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
David, man. David said, "Hey,
Um,
do me."
your dishes. How do you? Is there a regulation or something that goes into the creation of your beef jerky that deals with dietary health or um, um, what's the word allergies that somebody might have towards eating the food?
Right. So we always, like I said, like I mentioned, we always want to take care of our community. Regulations, obviously, you want to have your dietary facts, which we have in our packaging. You want to let them know also of allergy warnings. My salsa matcha, for example, it does contain peanuts. It has some other seeds like pumpkin seeds. So when you look at the salsa matcha, the packaging in the back, it'll say, warning: this product contains peanuts. My beef jerky, like I mentioned, I don't do any added preservatives. So we do encourage people to either put it in the fridge or eat it within 3 days of opening it, and that is also in the package. Once when you look at it, it'll say, uh, eat within 3 days, or obviously refrigerate. And every time I offer it to people at the events, I let them know, hey, we do use soy sauce in our beef jerky. It does have gluten. Our salsa matcha, every time I give somebody a sample, I tell them, this is our salsa matcha is delicious. It's one of our best sellers, but it does have peanuts. Are you okay with peanuts? We always want to make sure we're taking care of our community. We want to make sure that we're always doing the right thing so that our customers will be benefited by our products.
Of course. It's a great answer. Great answer. Keith.
Yeah, I think you're laying out some great information there as far as making sure you the point of taking care of your customer. That is a staple part of being a business owner and an entrepreneur because you can't grow, you can't go nowhere unless you actually consciously thinking about how your customers are viewing your product and how they see how your product is. That's how you succeed in moving forward. So I wanted to ask you to talk a little bit about business, what it is, how did you what are some of the things that you're doing as a business owner, like the paperwork and keeping track of everything, the inventory, the staff, all of those different things that go into making your product. Can you talk a little bit about how you structured the business?
Yeah, so the first thing I got to tell you is my wife, man. She's been an integral part of what we do here. She's truly been like the backbone of what we do here. She's helped me with everything from putting together the beef jerky. Sometimes when I'm at work and we have an event coming up, she's cooking it, she's getting ready, she's packaging it. It is definitely a challenge, like I mentioned, running a business, making sure that we have our books, make sure that our finances are in order, so that we not only can report accordingly, but make sure that we are putting back into the business enough for it to keep running, and also take a little bit for ourselves so that we can take care of our personal needs. Uh, Paperwork, finding recipes, putting the actual buying the meat is I would say is a challenge right now. The provider that I was going with, I find it more and more hard to find the cut that I use. I've started to reach out to a couple of other vendors to see if I can find more more quantities. But yeah, I think that's one of the challenging parts of it. Taking care of that, taking care of, like I said, the books, taking care of cooking, packaging. Always trying to find something better. We've switched the bags that we've used. We've switched them once already. We want to make sure that we have the best packaging that we can get for our customers, so that we can keep that quality and that freshness of our product as well.
Yeah, I think about that because just a low key, I was in with a smart final, and I thought about you because I went down the aisle and I saw all these beef jerky. I said, "I see what it is." Because my thing about beef jerky is very simple. I can't eat tough beef jerky, but if I get beef jerky that just got that tenderness to it, and it's I can chew it. Ooh, I love that. So talk a little bit about how you transition, between a like a cowboy jerky where you gotta tear it off, or one of those pieces where you put in your mouth and you like, man, you can put, you can end up eating the whole bag. Is there a difference in the way you cook it, or is it back to that particular type of cut of meat that you need?
I would say in my experience, there are several factors. The cooking, the way that you cook it. We've uh, we've we've experimented with different temperatures, different cooking times, different cuts of meat. Also, when I started making beef jerky, I used a different cut, and I noticed that the cut that I use now, it's a little bit more tender. Even the way that you slice the meat. I mean, a lot of us are familiar with cutting the steak, for example, a certain way against the grain, so that you get a better, more tender piece that actually just kind of rips easily and you can chew easily, as opposed to when you cut with the grain, it's a little tougher. The meat becomes a little tougher. So it's all things that when you put together, it really does make a difference on the final product. The type of cut that you use, the way that you cut the meat, the way that you cook it, the temperature, and also I think the fact that we marinate our meat for at least 24 hours. And the marinate portion of the meat also, I feel, and from my experience, I've noticed that it makes the meat more tender the longer you keep it in the marinade. So I would say those are the factors that influence the quality of it.
So do you have tender meat? Do you have, like, like when I was looking at some of it, it looks like it's more meaty and tender. Or do you have that variety in your packet, in your product, or is this one type of consistent type of um, meat? Is it always going to be meat that you have to pull as a jerky, or would it be those tender pieces as well?
Some of the marinades that we have, they do change the consistency of the meat. For example, when you grab a piece of the OG, you'll notice that it's a thin piece. It's almost it's tender. You can bite it. It's tender. The smoky fuego on the other side, we use a oil based marinade, so that one will be a little bit more meaty. And another one, for example, our pineapple habanero. That's another one that when you grab it, it's a thin piece of meat. It's really really delicious, really really tender. But I feel like, yeah, the type of marinade that we use on the meat, different marinades do have a different consistency. Another one that's more on the meaty side would be the lemon pepper. It's more meaty, and I think it is because of the marinade that we use, because the cooking temperatures are similar, the cooking methods are similar. The only thing that changes would be that recipe for the marinade, and I've noticed, it does make a difference on the final product.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And as you building your business and you're going to these different events and getting these clients that loves your jerky and everything. Is it something? Have you trademarked anything like your name, or you trademarking any of the recipes, or you copying it? What are some of the things technically you're doing to protect your business and your brand?
Well, we are in the works of trademarking. We haven't done a trademark yet, just because like I said, it started and it kind of picked up in a way that we didn't think it would. We're not we're not yet at the level that we want to be, and El California is not yet at the level that we wanted to get to. But it did move fast from that first piece of beef jerky that I shared with a couple of friends at work to where we are today. I feel like we've had a lot of growth in a relatively short time. It hasn't even been a year. Matter of fact, this upcoming September of 2024, it'll be 1 year of us having this business. So we're still working on getting trademarks. As far as recipes, I noticed I've done some research, and it seems that you can't, in fact, copyright a recipe. Other companies can assimilate the flavors, but you do have that protection where you don't have to share your recipe 100%. But there's no way. I remember talking to a friend who was a woodworker, and he made certain furniture, and I asked him, hey, how come you don't copyright your designs? And he told me the same thing. You can't really copyright a furniture design because it's something that anybody can duplicate and replicate. Change it a bit, but there's no way to copyright it. I still got to do some research, but yeah, that's definitely something we'd love to do, especially now that we're looking to outsource to a manufacturer. We want to make sure that we protect our intellectual properties and recipes as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing I was thinking about when I saw you the first time is the way you got it packaged, your presentation of your product, all of that imagery you got there. Man, I'm like, well, I'm hoping that you kind of working toward the copyright, working toward the trademark and all of those things because once you give it off to somebody to make it for you and they make it in bigger quantities for you, then it becomes like how much control you end up having because they know what you're doing and how you're doing it. So, are you working on, or do you have little mom and pop shops and stuff like that, or taking in your product?
Not at the moment. I've spoken to a couple of friends, and they asked me the same question. At one point, we did offer to a couple of liquor stores around here in our area, and we started working with a couple of them to get our product out there. But we want to make sure that our growth, while we do want to grow, we want to make sure that it's manageable. So to be honest, we don't have the infrastructure at this moment to produce the quantities to start selling commercially like that. That's why we've been working with events. We are looking for a manufacturer, but like I said, we want to make sure that the growth that we experience it has to be manageable. We want to make sure that we don't become overwhelmed with the growth, and we want to make sure that when we are ready to start bringing people in, it's got to be people that share our values, our value for the quality of our product, our value for the way that we care and we are committed to our communities as well. So that's one of the reasons why we're just kind of taking not necessarily a lot of time, but we are taking our time to make sure that we take the right steps and make sure that everything is as it should be as we grow.
Yeah, that's the thing about being an entrepreneur, man, is that it's 1 minute you could just be starting an idea and working on it, and next thing you know, things are moving faster than you really wanted to, or slowing down. But just the back and forth and understanding where to invest in your business, what exactly you need to do to, like you say, protect yourself and make sure your business is able to succeed without someone taking it over. Because remember, this is your thing, but you like it. That's why you're doing it, right? Because this is this is
That's
this
right.
is your jerky. You eating your own food, man. You put it out there, somebody don't buy it, you be like cracking myself up. You be like, "Okay, what the hell with
Yeah,
them,
right back to
man?
the.
I'm gonna eat it myself. I ain't gonna sell it." So I really like to ask you this other question. We'll pass it back to Razak. Is that is the defining moment? I don't know. You talked a little bit about it, but is there a defining moment that you could talk about regarding, like, whether somebody came to your booth and had the money and you were like able to give it to them, or you had something in your car and you saw a homeless person and you were able to say, "Oh man, here you go." Is there some defining moment that you can relate to the product and your business?
There's been a couple of times where, like you mentioned, I've given a bag of beef jerky to certain people, whether I see the need or whether it's been customers that have been with me since the beginning. I give them a little bit of just a thank you. I did mention, we care for our communities, not only as a California, but in a person at a personal level. I like to some of the things that I do as part of my job is to do community outreach events, tree plantings, that type of things. So sometimes when we go to events where, for example, the event where we met Keith, that event we donated, I believe it was 10% or 20% of our sales we donated to the veterans at the venue that we were at. So I would say that that's one of the defining moments, because I'm always I've always been the type of person that's we're always thankful, being grateful for not only the opportunities that you have received, but the persons that have reached out to you and have given you an opportunity. I think it's very important. So we always want to make sure that we are giving those people thanks, and every chance we get, give a little back to our community. That's one of the ways. Like I said, we gave, I think it was 10% or 20%. I believe it was 20% of our sales for that day. We donated back to the veterans.
Man, that's
Hmm.
awesome, man. That is awesome that
Yeah.
you, especially in that kind of place. and well, the veterans and VFWs like that, they need that, and for you to be a part of that, even though you are a upcoming entrepreneur and doing what you're doing, I mean that got to be commendable, man, for you doing that, and I appreciate that. I'm going to pass it back to Razak and let him move forward with this question.
Yeah, man, that was great to hear, man. That was great to hear. Um, a lot of times when we be interviewing people and it's always a mystery of what you guys are going to say or what you guys actually do, and I like to hear when we have somebody who was actually thinking about the community that they're in. I mean, and it's not just a business for you where you're making a business and you're just going to like it's me. You're actually taking into account that you are a person in representation of the community that you're in, and that you're always going back to them and saying like, hey, I'm making my progress in some business, but no matter how big I get, I'm still going to be, humble and come back and volunteer for different things. I mean, you're not getting big headed or anything like that, where you're like, okay, well, you might have some success in your business, and it's like, okay, well, I just want you guys' money. What I mean, and you're in a community person in the sense of I want the community's money, and versus giving back to the community with every dollar that you earn, you're still trying to find a way to give back and make a stronger foundation for everybody else too. Um, I like hearing that. What? So my question would be, what activities or hobbies bring you the most joy and fulfillment outside of your professional life? And this is, I know you just gave us a few, but is there something besides doing any of the other works and volunteering that also give you the same amount of fulfillment?
Yes, so I haven't done it in a while, but I like to play golf. I've got two friends in particular, and I'll go ahead and say their names. Luis and Michael. They've been my friends for a while, and we always like to go out and play a little golf. It's been a little difficult lately to make the time, but that's one of the things that I like to do. Play with my kids, with my family as well. Hang out with my parents. Uh, as much as possible, I go out and play basketball with my son. Right now in the summer, it's a little difficult with the heat, but we try to be out there with him as much as possible. And my daughter too. We play volleyball. Volleyball. We'll go to the park and just kind of run around and do all kinds of activities. Uh, I've taken my kids before to the driving range as well, kind of just get them out there. And I think it's important not only to for me, I like spending time with my family. I like time. It's one of my core values, family, and making sure that we are making the same impact that we're trying to make in the community, even twice as much within your family. Not only teach them about hard work and dedication, but teach them that if you work hard enough and you set your mind into something, you can achieve it. My kids, they're also an integral part of what we do. They every time they get a chance, they're out there in the events with us, helping us set up, helping us take the setup down, offering free samples. Our mascot, Callie the bull, I put the suit on sometimes. My wife puts on the suit on, puts the suit on sometimes, and my son, he's actually been Cali before and greeted people and interacted with people as our mascot. So that's something that actually brings a lot of joy, because it's not Sam's business, is a family business where a family is working together to not only make this business happen and stronger and bigger, but also all of us together giving back to our communities, as I've mentioned before, and teaching my kids that it's not just about taking and taking. We can make the world a better place if we all just give a little back, even if it's just a little bit. We don't have a lot. We're not a big business, but we can still make a difference, even if it's just a little bit that we're giving back.
Right, right. That's great. Let me ask you. You said you have a mascot. What brought that idea? What I mean, and how has it worked for you?
It's been great. So the idea came. We were at the Moreno Valley Mall, and we had an event there. And I was looking at all these kids. They were walking around with their parents at the mall, and I said, you know what? California is it's a brand that the adults and the youth, they like to eat our beef jerky, but we want to make a connection with the kids also. We want to we want them to see us and be like, hey, I like this, guys, I like this business. And I thought to myself, why don't we get a mascot, something that the kids can take a photo with, that the kids can wave, and they can be happy when they see us. And I thought to myself, I said, well, our logo is a bull. Why not get a bull costume? We'll figure out a nice little name for the mascot, and then we'll put that together. So we did. We found a costume. We throw one of our shirts on it, and we just interact with the children, take photos, uh, dance around with them, jump around. It's been great so far. Even the adults, I've had adults come over and take pictures with the bull and post them on social media. If you look at our social media channel and on Instagram, you'll see photos of Cali, videos of Cali dancing and just doing random things. I think it's been awesome. It's been an adventure, a journey, especially on hot days. We just had an event not that long ago where it was, I believe, 103. So we put on the costume for about 15 minutes, and I said, let's take a little break because it's getting a little hot in there. But yeah, that's how the idea of Cali came about, and it's been great. We've been able to connect with our communities at a different level, definitely because of it with our customers.
Right, right. Yeah, that I never seen that or heard anybody actually
I love that, man. You
put
gotta
that
love
on.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh well, you know what? No, because
Smart.
we did have one guest, but she was doing it in her house. She was more like a video thing. She wasn't like out in the public like that. But yeah, you're out. I was because that's what I was wondering. I was like, man, it's hot. It's summertime. Like, you gonna
Oh, it
pass
is.
out in there? Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, so we'll,
Um,
we'll rotate it. We'll do a couple of minutes here and there.
yeah, yeah. Let me ask you. Okay, so you had mentioned earlier that you had a background in social media. Where does that come from, and how does that help you, or what kind of business or did you have beforehand that helps you out now in making the El California.
So mostly some of the companies that I worked with in the past, they saw that I've always had that sort of a creative um, something about me in creativity. Growing up, I did a lot of drawing. I used to draw characters, draw photos, draw not photos, draw pictures, paintings. As times have changed and computers have become more integral to our daily lives, I started looking into social media, and some of the business that I've worked with in the past, they've asked me to design postcards, design little um, like little pamphlets and stuff like that. The church that I grew up in as well, I helped out putting together flyers and things like that. And then at work, the last company that I worked with, one of the last companies that I worked with, they saw that creativity in me, and they gave me that position of marketing manager. And that's where I kind of like started getting more into social media, getting more into the capabilities and how much more reach we can have using social media. So what I did is I signed up for Cornell University's digital marketing certificate program, and I learned a little more about social media, how to use it successfully to market a brand, to reach new audiences and expand your markets. And that's kind of what I've been using, the knowledge that I got from there. I am currently working on. I'd like to go back and get my bachelor's. I don't have college education. I started going to San Bernardino Valley College a few years back, but I wasn't able to complete my associates. So that's one of the personal goals that I have as well, to go back and get a bachelor's degree in marketing communications, expand on what little knowledge I already have, get more knowledge so I can be better not only at my job but at this business that I have.
Okay, okay, and let's take a quick moment and go to your website, and because we was just talking about it, and I want to see how your schooling that you have so far has worked into creating your business and displaying your business, or advertising, I should say.
Yes, so let me go ahead and share I'll start with the website. So we'll start
Uh,
here. Let me go to
Keith,
the
you can
home.
start making some questions out of these, I guess, or put push that hide thing, hide that little bar right there. That's right there. That stop sharing. Push hide on it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so we don't have the funds to get a custom website designed by a professional or anything like that. So we are working with through Shopify right now. What you're looking at is a Shopify website that we created for ourselves. And the first thing that we want to point out is why choose El California. So we are 100%. We use 100% USDA choice beef because we believe in using only the best ingredients, which is why California's beef jerky is made with 100% USDA choice beef. And the result is a delicious, tender, and protein packed snack that's perfect for anyone who loves high quality, flavorful jerky. Just a couple, it's a couple of things that we like to tell our customers why they should choose us. Protein powerhouse. Whether you're a fitness enthusiast, an adventurer, or simply looking at satisfying and nutritious snack after a day of hard work, our protein packed beef jerky is your perfect choice. With a generous amount of protein per serving, it fuels your body and keeps you feeling full and energized. And also, as I mentioned, we use no added preservatives. We're committed to delivering a healthy snacking option that you can trust. That's why California beef jerky contains absolutely no preservatives. I should say no added preservatives. We rely on natural qualities of high grade beef and premium ingredients to preserve flavor and quality. And you can, always try to direct traffic to our social media channels. Follow us on Instagram. There's a little bit here about our products. Now you'll see some of these photos. I actually have to update. You can see our new packaging right there on the under the lemon pepper. But when we started, that other logo, that little the round one, that's what we started with when we first launched our product.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go through them. What's your most what's the one that you said that had a little bit of your character in it when you first started making
Oh, that would be
choosing it?
this one right here, which is the OG peppered beef
OG
jerky.
pepper.
And
Right on.
now that you mentioned, I do have to update some of these photos. The packaging, like I said, is different. The This is the old cut of meat that I used to use. So you see the pieces are a little bit smaller. I don't know if Keith I know he had a chance to look at some of the packaging that we had at that event where we met. The pieces are a little bit longer. It's different. That cut that I had back then, well, it was good. It was tender. It wasn't as tender as the one that I'm using now. It wasn't as good quality. So that photo I gotta update. But yeah,
So
El California. Go ahead.
no, well, I was going to ask you. This is the question I've always had. Is when you making this, like, do you go to like the supermarket to grab this meat, or do you have to go directly to a slaughterhouse or something and get the cuts that you need specifically, or
Right now, I'm going to a market. I've looked
to
into
a
going through a meat supplier, but for us to be able to get the meat and keep our prices as low as possible for our customers, I'd have to buy fairly large quantities, and I just don't have the infrastructure for that at this moment. So for right now, we are going to a market and buying it there.
okay, okay.
Yeah, so one of them would be definitely the OG, the beef, the OG peppered. That's one of my best sellers. From there, I would say it's funny because it's changed over time. When I first started introducing my line of products, it was the OG peppered and the teriyaki, pineapple teriyaki, and I don't
Mm,
have them listed here. I gotta some of these flavors are fairly new, so I gotta update my website. But as time has gone by, I've noticed that when we talk about trends, how things change. The OG pepper is still one of my best sellers, but now the lemon pepper has made its way up up to the charts. And more recently, I think the smoky fuego. People just like that spice. I personally, I wouldn't say it's a spice where you can't handle it, but it does give you a kick. Like I told a customer yesterday, I told them this is the one I use when I'm going on road trips and I need to stay awake. I'll eat some of that smoky fuego and that'll keep me awake. But the lemon pepper is also one of my best sellers right here. And this one is not a spicy jerky, but we like to put, and you can see right here on the photo, we like to put 2 bags of tapatio inside the package, just in case you want that extra kick, that extra flavor from the spiciness. But yeah, that's another one of my best sellers,
Okay,
which
I
is
like how you got the 22 grams protein. You got the little. So that is definitely a professional looking packaging right there. Get the whole
thank you.
nutrition facts on the side. Now,
Yes, yes.
let
So,
me
so go ahead.
let me ask you real quick why we have this picture up. I wanted to ask you that before, but what is the process that you would have to go through, and maybe the licensing or education behind making your presentation of this bag like this, like getting the nutrition facts and making how like so you designed this whole front bag, right?
Yes, yes. So some of the things that we wanted to make sure that we had some words that our customers saw in our product, and they said, that's what I'm looking for in today's society. And even myself, as I'm trying to become more healthy and get a little more active, I'm always looking at how much protein is in something, how many grams of sugar, how many grams of carbohydrates are there. So when I created the label, one of the things I did is I used the computer system and I input all my ingredients, how much meat I use, what cut of meat I use, and how much of each ingredient goes in it, and it actually gave me the nutrition facts, and it told me how many grams of protein are in that package, or per serving, should I say. So I added that to make sure that people know, hey, our beef jerky has 22 grams of protein per the two ounce package that you're looking at right here. We are using USDA choice beef, so we're not using, basically the way I tell my customers, the way I tell my people, the people that I talk to, is if it's something I wouldn't eat myself, if it's something I wouldn't give to my family to eat, it's not something I'm going to try to sell to you for you to eat, because I wouldn't do that. It's not my character. It's not the type of person I am. So we wanted to make sure that we had that in there. Obviously, the nutrition facts, we wanted to have that. And before, when I started, I was just selling, like I said, to my friends. You can see from, I'm gonna go back real quick. You can see from the original label, it was just a little logo. I was selling to friends. I was selling in parking lots, going from business to business, going to just out in the street, telling people, hey, I'm launching my brand right now. It's a beef jerky brand. I got this. This is what I have. I'd like you to to offer it to you. Would you like to try it? Bring little samples. That's why it started. But as we started to think a little bigger and started thinking about, let's do some events. Let's see if we can get into partnerships with business owners, where we showcase our product at their businesses, and when they sell it, we give them a certain percentage. We started researching what type of information do we have, what regulations are there, and what do we need to show the customer in order to be able to do that. One of those things was a nutrition facts. So we wanted to make sure that we had that in our packaging. We added it. We want to make sure that we let people know what type of flavor they're picking. And then when we have our limited edition flavors, we always put a little sticker here in this area. I'm not sure. Can you guys see the cursor for the mouse?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So in this area, we put either the limited edition pineapple habanero or the smoky fuego. And we also want to make people let people know that we're a brand that is made in America. We are a local brand. We are just we're your neighbors putting
Right.
together a product that we'd like to share with you, something that we love and we hope you love as well. So that's what kind of came towards making the beef jerky. Obviously, our slogan, "A Taste of the West."
Taste of the
It's
West.
This is California. This is California beef jerky, baby.
Yeah. You know, that looks good actually. That looks very professional right there. You know what I liked about what you was just saying right there is that you're really came from the ground level and up. Because if you're out there and was in a parking lot hustling your product before you got all this, that was really just hey, I believe in what I'm making, and let me see if I can. So that's sort of like a social thing experiment that you was making to see if people was liking it. Hey, if I can go out here and hustle this in the parking lot, and I made it a little more better, made it better than the better package, then you're going to get more people. Then you can bring it into a better. So how did you? Okay, so what made you go from that point to getting into, or how did you transition into from hustling and going through parking lots and giving out samples to saying going into a big, I'm gonna all go into making the design, doing all this, getting your tents and doing all this.
So the first, I want to say, the first thing that we started looking into was events, because I wanted to make sure that we reached as much people as possible. And I was able to do that by going to parking lots and selling, like I said, business to business. Events is different. It's a place where, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, where we can network with other individuals that have businesses, learn from them, but also it's a place where people come there for that specific purpose. They want to see what local business owners have to present. They want to see what type of products their neighbors are offering. So that idea came by, and I asked a couple of people what events were like. I had experience in events as a just to give you a little more information. So I'm in the utility vegetation management industry. I have done community events in the past, but it's mostly been for educational purposes, teaching people the need for vegetation management, teaching people how to be safe around power lines, how to be safe uh, with their trees around power lines. What type of trees should you put to grow underneath power lines, for example? What type of trimming should be done? Should you even be trimming your trees if they're close to power lines? So, in that sense, I have experience sharing knowledge in an event, but I didn't know what it was like selling a product at an event. Is it something that's worth it? Is it something where people are actually going to buy, or is it just going to be me there sitting down for a couple of hours and not be able to sell this product? So I talked to a couple of people. I had different reviews, different feedback. Some of my friends, they told me, we've done some events and it's been good. Some other ones have told me, I used to do events, but I kind of pulled back from events because it's just not working out for me. So it came to that point where we had to make a decision. Is it something that we want to try, or is it something that it's not going to work out for us? And after discussing it and just taking into consideration all the factors, we said, well, let's give it a try. Let's do a couple of events. Like anything, you got to give it a little bit of time. The first event might not be uh, as profitable or as successful, but maybe the next one. So we did one event, our very first event. I want to say we sold out. It was well, actually, let me take that back. Our first event, we didn't sell enough. I think we sold about 2 bags. We had all our beef jerky in display, and we were talking to people. Would you like to buy some of our beef jerky? We brought out Cali, and the kids were taking photos with us with Cali, but people weren't buying the product. And this is where I'd like to point out again, learning from others. So in conversations with the other vendors at the event, they mentioned, oh, you know what you guys need to do? Bring some samples. People want to try your product before they buy it. Yeah, sure, you're out there educating and offering to people, but when you have something to put in their hands and they taste it and they see, oh, this is something I like, it'll be different. It'll make a difference. So the next event that we did, we started bringing samples, and that's when we sold out. That second event, we sold out. So from that point on, we said, okay, we're gonna keep doing events. We're gonna bring samples, share the flavors that we bring with people, and then see how that goes. Still to this day, it's a hit and miss, depending on the location, depending on the weather as well. There's times when there's events where it's 105, 106 out there, and obviously people are not going to want to be out there. But it's something that we like doing, the events, sharing our craft with our communities, and I think it's something that we're going to keep doing until we're ready to take the next step and either liquor stores or maybe transition more towards online sales and work on that a little more. But we'll see where the journey takes us at that point.
Okay. What is this one right here? The oh well, I'm looking at like you can. Yeah, okay, you knew her. Yeah, that one.
Okay, yeah. So that's our chamoy piña. It's basically dehydrated pineapple. Let me open it up for you guys. It's dehydrated pineapple. We put some chamoy in it. We put some tajin, and it's good. It turns into almost like a gummy. and it's delicious. When we take this, I got to tell you, this they sell out. Once we started bringing the samples for it, people like it, people try it, and we've had people that say, hey, I buy it and I put it on the rim of my michelada, or I put it on the rim of
Mm.
my beer, and it's good stuff, to eat and to have a drink and have a good time. So yeah, the same thing. It's we don't add any additional preservatives to it. You can see a photo here. Let's see, when it's freshly off the oven, as we like
Mm.
to say.
Now, okay. Now, I think you might have mentioned it before, but are these? This is a cultural thing right here, or is it? It's inspired, or where do you get this idea from? Is it like
Yeah, so
from
yeah,
heritage or something?
definitely it's cultural. In the Latino community, we love our chamoy, we love our spice. Uh, Anything, watermelon with chamoy and tajin. We love it. It's a great flavor.
Hmm.
So we thought about incorporating some of that to our product list, and we said, why not pineapple? We tried with a different fruits to dehydrate them, and from what we were able to get, our personal favorite was pineapple. We tried we tried mango, we tried a couple of different other ones too. Maybe in the future we'll bring back the mango, but at this point we really loved
Mm.
the pineapple. We always like to, they call them the focus groups in marketing, but it's basically sharing your product with people and getting reactions, and that's something that we like to do all the time. When we're about to launch something new, we make a batch, we'll share it with a couple of friends, we'll share it with a couple of people, and get their feedback. Is it too salty? Is it too tangy? Is it too spicy? Obviously, you're gonna get different reactions from different people. Some people like spice a lot. Some people don't like spice a lot. Some people like salty. Some people don't. Once we
Right.
get all that feedback, we try to find a common ground where we think, okay, everybody's going to be pleased with this product. Like anything, you won't always get 100% approval from everybody. I'm not saying I think my beef jerky is the best. I have customers that say your beef jerky is the best. The Taste of the West. I
Yeah.
have a customer. Uh, Shout out to my friend, from La Cena SB. She calls it the best in the West. And we appreciate it, but we know that sometimes there might be customers that don't like our flavor, and we respect that. We respect your opinion. We appreciate you for buying that one bag and trying it, and thank you for the opportunity, and hopefully in the future we can bring out another product that you like better. So, but yeah, we always try to get feedback, try to learn from our customers, and make changes accordingly. This is definitely this product is from my childhood. I got to tell you that. So some of my childhood I spent in Mexico City. I grew up, and this was a big part of what we ate there. The charales with they're salted. It's basically dried salted sardines, and this is something that when we used to go to the market, my grandmother would buy it and make it with either a green salsa or a red salsa. I personally just like stealing a couple and eating it like just like that. It was a delicious snack. So we thought about bringing that in. It's something that you can eat as a snack. We add a little bag of tapatio so you can just put some salsa in it and eat it like that. These ones particularly are not salted because they could be a little salty when you buy them already salted. But this ones we have them like that, no salt. If the customer wants to add some salt, they can. I like to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of lemon, put that tapatio in there. But it's a great not only snack, it's actually a great food item. As I mentioned before, you can buy this bag, make it with some potatoes and some green salsa. Make a dish out of it with some white rice or some red rice, some flour or corn tortillas, and it's something that we made ourselves here at home too. And it's delicious. Um, it's crunchy. It's a little bit of saltiness, and it's a lot of protein. I mean, it's fish. It's protein. So, yeah, a lot of our customers like it. As you can see right now, it's matter of fact, it's sold out because we've had a lot of people buying it. Not necessarily on our website just yet, but in our events, we have had people that have liked them. They actually contact us on social media trying to get more. So yeah, at this moment they're sold out, but it's a great product. And once you try it and develop a taste for it, I think not a lot of people like fish. Once you try it and it grows on you, it's something that like I said, potatoes and salsa, or you can also make it with um, it's called tortitas. So basically, you get some egg and you beat the egg and you add the a little bit of flour. You add this fish product, the charales, and you turn it into almost like a little cake. And then you cook it in the pan, and then you serve it with rice or some salsa, or you can also add some spinach to it, and it's just delicious. It's like I said, a food that I grew up with, and it's. Oof, I wanted to make sure I brought that to the people as well.
All right, Keith, you got something?
Yeah, wow, that's just just the down home part that you're
Dried
talking
fish.
about, from home, how you get that flavor. When you're talking about add some egg and some spinach and all of that, that just seems like that just comes from somewhere, that comes from home. And you're bringing that to the table when you're talking about bringing your product out there, which leads me to this question I want to ask. And I think it's important for you to talk about a couple of things. Talk about your wife and the importance. I know you touched on it a little bit, but let's give her more praise than just a little bit. What is how do you guys work together as a team building this business? What's the relationship in that? And just talk a little bit more about the importance of that.
Yes, I wanted to go back to this page here, but I don't want it to kind of take over. How do I stop sharing again?
If you leave it right here, I can bring it up whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay, okay. So I'll just go ahead and leave it like that. Yeah. So I gotta say, man, my wife is she's my rock, man. Just overall, everything that we've been through. Uh, there's when we got married, we had nothing. We were sharing a room at my parents' house, and she stuck with me, man. It's it's a little hard to share this because it shows you a different side of me. So there were times when we didn't have the finances for certain things. There were times when I remember this one time that we didn't have milk for my son, and I went out to basically dumpster dive, and I got recycle. I got a whole bunch of bottles of for recycle, and I went to recycle just so I could get enough money to buy some milk. And she was always there when somebody else would have said, this is not what I want. This is not the life that I want. She stuck by me, man. And throughout our lives, whatever achievements have reached, I gotta tell you, it's a big part that she's had to do with it. She's supported me in everything, every single venture that I've tried to start. She's always been there. Every venture that she's tried to start, I've been there. We've helped each other, and it really comes down to that. I think, a lot of people, they say that marriage is 50-50. I'm a young-ish person. I'm 34. But in the experience that I've had, I can tell you marriage is not 50-50. It's 100%. You give 100%, the other person gives 100%, and that's how you make it. And she's definitely given 100% plus. Every time I show up with a new piece of equipment, hey, I bought this because I'm thinking of doing this. She's like, "Ay, Samuel, okay, let's do it." And when I brought this idea about the beef jerky, she said, "Let's go for it. If you trust it, if you think that this is something you want to try to do, I'm 100% behind you." We pulled some money out. We were doing a little better at the time financially. We still, we are grateful and we're thankful for everything that we have. And she agreed. Let's go get the equipment that we need. Let's go buy the meat. Let's go figure out how to make this happen. And every time, she's been there with me. We've been up to 1, 2 in the morning getting meat seasoned and cut and ready to go. She's been up at the Crocodile with me packaging on the days that we have events, and we still got to catch up because we always I have we work and we have to work on our business around our busy schedules, our already busy schedules. So she's always been there for me. She's always been there helping me, supporting me, and not only with words, but she's actually been there hands on, and she's had input on the creative process. Something that I haven't shared with you guys. This logo right here, she created that one. She came up with the idea of it. She came up with the idea of the flames in the back, the snacks portion of it. She came up with it. She said, "Hey, let's put here the fact that we were established in 2023, the fact that we're in Beaumont, California, so that people know that we're their neighbors." And she's had a lot of input, a lot of and I like to say it's not my business, it's our business, and I'm really grateful for everything that she's done and everything that she's always been there and supporting. And yeah, man, 100% hats down to how hats. What do they say? Hats off to her. She's an amazing woman, an amazing wife, an amazing mother, and could not have picked a better partner to not only share my life with, but to start this business and work on this business with.
Hmm. That's
I
good.
think you've said the important part is the fact that you guys are, you know, I was married 32 years, which is probably you're 34, so I was married long as you probably been alive before my wife passed away. So what I would say, and the fact that she stuck with you while you were dumpster diving, as you want to call it that, but that's just survival, man. It's just one of those things we do to survive in our life. And your partner, if she's down with you, she's gonna be there to help that move along. Because walking away doesn't really change too much. You just gotta go figure out how to do it with somebody else. But if she's sticking with you, she see that what you're doing. She see the hard work you're putting in to doing that to provide. Just imagine what you would do when you got everything that was supposed to have. So it's just a beautiful thing, man, that you guys are able to have that relationship. Because what we want to show our audience, because there's a lot of people out there that are young, there are a lot of people starting business around your age, people that are older, and it's important for them to see from like what you're talking about, this that importance of having a family and having someone working together. And you like you said, she helped with the mascot and all those things. Those are just teamwork. It takes teamwork in a marriage to make it work. Otherwise, you never really get to all of the dreams that you have. So, in talking about her, I really do appreciate you taking the time to share that with us. But I also like you to talk about your dad and your mom, because you're saying that that's who you stayed with. Those are people that you get your wisdom from somewhat. So give them a shout out as to how that affects you personally and with the business.
Yes, so yeah, same thing, man. A lot of support from my parents. Even my mother-in-law, she supports us. She buys our products. My parents buy our products. They love the OG. And my mom, it's she actually likes to pan fry it, and then she'll make tacos with it or whatnot. But yeah, same thing. Just the fact that if there's one thing that I've learned from my parents is that no matter how many times life knocks you down, all that matters is that you just get up one more time. And that's something that I've learned from them. We 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 uh, we, we struggled growing up. There were times when I remember this particular time. I went down to I was hungry, so I went down to the fridge downstairs, and I opened it up, and I kid you not, it sounds like something that wouldn't be real, but it was. It happened. I opened the fridge and there was nothing but a tub of butter and a pack of tortillas, and that was it. And later on, I don't know how my dad did it. I don't know what he went through. I don't know what he did, but he came home with food for us. He came home with groceries, and definitely growing up the way that I grew up with the parents that I grew up with has taught me a lot about perseverance. Has taught me a lot about not giving up. My mom, the same thing. She's always that caring factor. She's always trying to find out, are you guys okay? Do you guys need anything? Uh, my dad, same thing. Every day he texts me. Every day he calls me. And every day he sends me at least 20 or 30 videos on on Instagram that he shares with me. But it's good to know that they're there for you. That they support you. He's always told me, everything that you do, I'm here for you. If you need help, maybe I can't necessarily help you on how to run a business, but I can help you if you ever need a hand with something. If you need I remember one time my car broke down at work, and he actually went to my job site, picked me up, and took me home. And then later on, we came back and figured a way to take the car. Another car that I had when I first got married. I remember I was at a store. I was parked and I was pulling back so I could leave the store, and the car literally just broke to the side. The wheel literally faced, instead of being parallel to the car, it was across it. And I mean, obviously, at the I was young. I didn't know what to do, so I called my dad. I said, "Hey, Dad, I need help." He went out there and helped me to figure out how to get to work first, because I had to be at work about an hour after that. So he took me to work, and then we figured out how to fix the car. And just every time that I've needed something, he's been there. My 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 mom as well. Every time that I need somebody to talk to, I can always call them and they'll pick up. My mother-in-law, the same thing. Every time that we've needed some input, or hey, we need somebody to watch the kids and my parents are busy at the moment, she'll do it. She'll help out with as much as she can. Back when we were both working, my wife and I, she would help us look after the kids, and she like I said, she'd go even a step further and make us make us a lunch, so that when we came home from work, there'd be a lunch here for us. And it's just an incredible amount of support, and knowing, my mother-in-law, same thing. She's worked all her life, uh, single mom as well with two kids, and same thing, learning from her the fact that you can push yourself, and you'll reach your goals. Same thing with my parents. You can push yourself, you can fight, and no matter how hard the fight is, the moment that you get to the other side, the moment that you break through, you're gonna know that everything that you fought for, it was worth it. And no matter what you went through, no matter how much you suffered. And I'll tell you this personally, and to anybody I know that there's people that are going to be watching this podcast, and maybe there's vendors out there, maybe there's people with small businesses and they're struggling, whether it's a business challenge that you're facing, or if it's a personal challenge that you're facing. I can tell you from personal experience, and I hope that you can learn from me, that no matter what you're going through, you just got to keep pushing and keep fighting. And if you need to reach out to somebody for help. But eventually, no storm lasts forever. And at some point, you're going to get through it, and you're going to put it behind you, and you will be better and stronger because you went through it.
I think I want you to just think about this, man. The reason the podcast, we do what we do, and we try to bring these stories to and the journeys to our listeners and everything, is the fact that you're not alone, man. You know, there's a lot of people that are in our communities that are out there that are coming up with this same type of lifestyle, or have some of these same issues, whether it's in business or whether it's personal. And I want to make you comfortable, or have you be comfortable to realize that you're okay, man. You know what I mean? We're listening to you. We understand, and we've been through the same. And so in that partnership and understanding each other's lives, that not everything's gonna be right. Our parents had it hard, but they still sometimes made the sacrifice. We didn't know where it came from and provided. And that's what you did when you were going to that dumpster and getting that. You're doing that same thing. You're sacrificing to provide. And so, and even when you come up to the place where you are now in business, you're still coming up with a way to help. Why you're giving a percentage of your business to someone else. And I think that all just comes back around to how we were raised and the things we've learned over life. And I want you to know that this is why KF&JF podcast exists, is to talk about that journey to success. And these are some of the things and steps along the way that you're talking about. So I appreciate you talking about that, because this question here was going to be about your life lessons. But I think some of your life lessons you may have covered. But if you want to add to the life lesson, can you talk a little bit about legacy and how you see your legacy, how you trying to build a legacy, and and talk about how that interaction with your parents have affected you in establishing a legacy.
Right. Yeah. So legacy, I think it's important. No matter, I think I could I could I could do a whole lot of things throughout my life, but if I don't leave a legacy, it would be all pointless. I could I could I could try to make a difference and change the world, but if there's nobody there to pick up where I leave off once I'm no longer here, there's no point. Legacy is important. For me, legacy is important in two ways. It's important for me to leave a legacy for my family, for my children. My my oldest is going to be 15 this year. My youngest just turned 12, and I think it's important, especially with this business, that I'm building something that they can take over in the future, where they won't have to start from zero where I started. They won't have to start down here, but they might have just a little bit more to start off with than I did. And I think that's important to leave that legacy, not only leave them with something to start with, but also the principles. As I mentioned before, they go with us to the events, and they're out there hustling and grinding and helping put things together and taking down and sharing samples and putting on the costume. And it's a legacy of hard work that we are sharing with them and that we are teaching them. Hard work, dedication, commitment, because it's not easy to I'll tell you, it's not easy to be at an event that ends at 10:30 on a Sunday night, and then they see me or my wife get up at 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning to go to work, and they know that we're working hard, and that's something that they're learning, that hard work pays off. No matter what you're working on, whether you're working on something that you're trying to build or something that's already established, just the fact that we are giving them that legacy of working hard and working for your dreams, working for your goals, and even the fact, that going back to me wanting to get my bachelor's, that legacy of education. I've always told my kids, I'm not against education. I am 100% for education, because education is power. I'm against the fact that you might have to get in debt hundreds of thousands of dollars to get an education, and then come out and do minimum and get minimum wage, or less than a livable wage. That's what I'm against. But I've told my kids, if I can go out there and try to get an education, you can definitely do it. You already started from a better point than I was, because um, you're not going through the same things that I went through. So we're giving you that legacy of knowledge. We're giving you that legacy of education. We're giving you that legacy of hard work, but also a legacy to our community. When, like I've mentioned before, we like to give back, and that's another thing that I like to do: leave a legacy for our communities. Because if we don't make an impact in our communities, if we don't make a difference in our surroundings, at the end of the day, what are we doing? Am I just here to taking oxygen, send out carbon dioxide, and in the end of the day, that's it. I think there's more to life than that, and I'm glad, and thank you for bringing up the fact of legacy, because a lot of us, what type of legacy are we leaving? A legacy to our families, but also a legacy to our communities. What can we give back before our time runs out? How can we make a difference in the world? How can we make a difference in our communities? How can we make the world a better place for our children, our grandchildren, and the generations to come? And I think that's important to me. Legacy to both family and community. And as I'm speaking, and as we're talking about it, legacy of El Californio. And I haven't shared this with you guys, but in the future, one of my personal goals for this brand is to continue to give back to the community, and eventually what I'd like to do, and I hope that it's in the journey for us to do some sort of do some sort of what's it called when you give money to people for college. Like, the name can't come to mind right now. A scholarship, El California scholarship. Give back to the community like that. Just a little bit of all that to share with us. Leave that legacy as well of sharing back to the community. And who knows, maybe in the future we can make it happen, and hopefully it's something that's in the journey for us. But yeah, legacy is important. Legacy to family, legacy to communities.
Yeah, you're right there. I'm gonna pass it over to Razak, who's gonna have a few more questions for you. But yeah, you make a point that really I haven't heard connected that way. It's usually legacy about yourself and your family. But when you said legacy to not only you but to your community, I think that's just another piece of the great, you know, part of the podcast. We learn too about how people see their lives and see their business. Razak?
I like your answer when you mentioned that you're going to school, you're trying to get an education to better your life, and the school industry, the educational industry, puts this debt on you the minute you decide to better yourself and more and further your education. Buy those uh, thousands of dollars, 10,000, 20. Depending, it probably depends on what you're trying to study. What you're trying to become skilled in. What I mean, a trade school even, and I think it's already designed to, in fact, make you go into debt. I don't understand. I never really understood. I mean, I got some degrees. My highest I went was a bachelor's degree. And there are some times where you're just saying, okay, well, you're getting these degrees and you're trying to get a job in these you know in the degree that you got. So I mean, if it doesn't always pan out, what I mean, or if you do actually get a job, but maybe the job didn't actually answer the calling that you had to become, maybe I'm a podcaster, what I mean? Or selling beef jerky, what I mean, that it's, and they still just like, what I mean, I just think it's crazy, how they put it's almost like okay, we're going to give you this education, or you're allowed to get this education. And really, if you think about it, sometimes you don't even have to go to no college or no school. I found this out later that, we can go online. There's thousands of people that did it already, and they're more than willing to have share the education that they have, if you know where to look. Or we used to go to these old I think they're like old bookstores that have college material in it, and it might be, what I mean, it might be a used book. I forgot what it's called. I went to one in Long Beach, but they have these old used college books. It might have writing in it and all this type of stuff. They might be kind of beat up, but it's the same material that they have in the classroom, and you can totally skip the even going to some of these classes, depending on what it is, and get the education that way. So that might be an idea to look in for people to do, and they should already have educators that want to. You know what I always say. Uh, I know I'm kind of like hanging on to that, but it's I always tripped on. You can give us a football player or a baseball player, thousands of dollars, 10, 20, basketball players make all these hundreds of thousands of dollars to run up and down the court and throw the ball in the hoopy, have his energy and all that stuff. But the educator, the person who we are entrusting with our kids to educate them are the kids to the teens to the adults to the college level and getting out to the world. They're not paying them no hundreds of $1,000, per that they're doing. Like, why isn't that of a more reward, what I mean, as far as like, payment wise. And I don't know, I probably got off subject right here, but I just, yeah, because I was thinking that same thing. I mean, you're always going to try to get a better education, and they charge you to the roof for that. What I mean? Um, okay, so let me get back to the questioning. I know you had mentioned your dad and your mom and that experience that you have growing up, but do you have any mentors or role models or people that you look up to or get advice from that you still use today as you went through your business?
Just I would say just like people that I know. I know there's one person that I met at one of my jobs that I had. He was the CFO of that company, and we always used to talk. And he's a great person. His name is Alan, and he's always sharing information with me. We talk real estate, we talk finances, we talk about if I have a question, I'd be like, I'd ask him. I say, hey Alan, if I'm trying to do this, what's the best way to do this? Or if uh, I'm trying to get some information about this, what's the best way to do it? And yeah, he'll share that information with me. I think I think he's a valuable source of information for me, and we have a friendship. We're friends. We have a very good relationship. We're working at the same company at this moment too, and we're sharing an office, so we're constantly talking. But I think a lot of the knowledge and a lot of the mentorship that I've got is just from networking. Networking. It's with vendors, like I mentioned that story about the vendors that told us, hey, maybe you should start bringing some samples, and that might help out. People want to try before they buy. um, uh, Other things. We had an event where it's little things, but it's big things at the same time. We had a canopy. Our canopy was set up, and it was a windy day, and it kept on flying off. And we had sandbags attached to it, but the sandbags weren't holding it down as as good as we thought they would. So another vendor came over and said, "Hey, they have these weights that you put in the legs of the canopies, and they hold it down." And we bought some, and it's worked like a charm. Just learning from I think, if I had to say, mentors and people that have shared information, have shared knowledge with us, it's definitely the other vendors that we have networked with, people that we have networked with within our communities. And they're just, there's people out there that are willing to share their knowledge with you if you just take a little bit of time to listen. So yeah, definitely. There's I wouldn't say it's not an actual person, but there is a book by Gary Soto. It's called Buried Onions, and I kid you not, I've read that book over 10 times. And it's about a Chicano kid growing up in Fresno and trying to get out of a gang life for him, a gang life, and it keeps on trying to pull him in. He keeps trying to get out, and I like this book because of the story is great. I like reading it, but also the message. At the end, he is able to escape. He's able to make something out of himself. Maybe not necessarily the way that he wanted to, but he found a way to get out. And it goes back to what I said. It's important for us to keep pushing and fighting for what we do, and eventually we'll overcome the challenges. Another big factor. Not a lot of people sometimes don't like to share it, but you know, God, my beliefs in God and everything that we do. He's always there for us. He's always taking care of us. And it's funny because recently in my Instagram, when I'm looking through my feed, I've been getting this little post that says, if God gave you the business idea, he'll give you the knowledge to make it happen. And just my faith, I think, is also a big part of it. Um, Everything we do, it's by His grace and with His favor, and the relationships that we've been able to build with our community, with our customers. It's it's part the work that we've done. It's part the time that we've invested, not only in our product but in our relationships with the community. But it's definitely a big part, just the grace and favor that He's given us with our communities, with our customers, with vendors, with people that host. Even I could not have imagined that on that day at the veterans event, I was going to meet such a wonderful person with such a wonderful program, and it's such a wonderful partner that you guys are. This is what you guys do, and I got to give you credit 100%. Showcasing small businesses where somebody else would say we don't really want to deal with this. We want to talk to people that already have an established brand. We want to talk to people that are gonna bring us views. But you guys are taking time and investing into the little guys. And guys, I got to give you props. I take my hat off to you guys for what you do, and I'm grateful for you taking the time, even on a Sunday, working with my with my schedule, and it means a lot. It means the world to me. And I really want to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity, and just being able to share uh, what it is that I do, and hopefully learn more and keep pushing forward and growing.
Yes, well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
We do try. I'm glad you said that. As a matter of fact, we do try to target, the on these big social media sites, and they chase down the athletes, they chase down the superstars, they chase, I don't see uh, a particular person who is new all the time. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like a repetitive. You got one person and they're on like 10 different things talking about the same stuff that he did three, you know, places ago. You got interviews on TV, you got magazines, you got all these different things, and it's like they make it seem like they're so exciting or something like that. Like there's nobody else in the world that we would be interested in. You know what I mean? So going through the vendor events, it was always a thing about, I mean, who's here in our community, who's right here. I mean, we're hearing about this guy who's way over there, what I mean? And okay, yeah, he's making his millions of dollars, but I mean, you're not here in my community. You're not, your lifestyle and things that you've done might not reflect what I'm doing right here. What I mean? So people that are doing the vending events, some of these other people we had the pleasure of communicating with and having on the show, it was always about, getting that exposure. I want to know who you are, and the people who are in these big name brand stores and stuff like that, they might have had a humbler beginning. You never know. We have, matter of fact, we had some people that with things in the store, with their products and their merchandise in the store, and they're not, what I mean, like well known. I mean, who knows who are these people with these products in the store? You just never know because we don't bother to ask. What I mean? But going through the vendor events, we see the people who are trying to get up to that level. And that is a good focus point that we want to start at, because we're starting at the bottom level too. We're trying to build up the podcast, and what better way to build up the podcast by interviewing people who are also building their business. So that where we start networking of people who are starting to build their foundation, such as yourself. We all hear the story, and we get to resonate with you about what you're going through as far as your struggles to get to success. And at some points, we're successful now. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to have a $100,000 tagline to it to say that I am being successful right now. Success is never ending. There's no point in anybody's life that even with these billionaires that say, hey, I'm successful now, I got enough money, I need to just stop making money. It's always a process of learning more ways to get yourself more elevated. And some people just might have better connections, or they might have more funding to start off from the ground level. And so I like the people that we have been meeting, and it most definitely has been an interesting journey so far. And I can't wait to see how much further we go into meeting people and building this legacy that we have with the with the podcast. And with that, what do you have a future prediction for El California?
Yeah, so like, as I mentioned, we are trying to find a way to outsource our production. We would like to start spreading out a little more, uh, get back into maybe some liquor stores, or find a way to get our product out there a little more. Definitely um, try to find a way to meet the demand. There's days when, or weeks when it's a little bit slow, but there's some weeks that we are working overtime to try to get all the orders taken care of and get things for events ready. I remember there was this one week that we had an event on a Thursday, a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday. So that week, you can imagine, we we were running on Celsius and energy bars, But yeah, we have plans to grow. We have plans to, like I said, outsource our manufacturing, but we want to make sure that we still keep the same quality and the same values that we have. And in the future, uh, we want to work a little more on our online sales. We want to come up with some sort of marketing plan where we can start growing. I'll be honest with you, on our website, we've had not as many sales that we've done in person. And if we're able to focus a little more on that website, I feel like we'll be able to not only expand our reach, but also with more, when we talk about dollars and cents, with more money coming in, we can do more things. As I mentioned to you, in the future, I'd like to have a El California scholarship, give money to people to help them get an education, uh, give back to our communities. Uh, I don't know where this journey is going to go, but I'd like to leave a legacy. I'd like to make a difference. So if we are able to grow, we are able to give more back to the people around us, to our neighbors. So that's what's in the plans. We want to grow. We want to manufacture a little more, and yeah, start maybe in the future hiring a couple of friends to help us. And
Mm-hmm.
I've got a buddy of mine, that's his name's Michael, and he's always been super supportive of this business. He's I'd say one of my biggest customers. He's always buying the beef jerky, buying the salsa macha. We actually gave him a promo code, and if you guys want to go to californiasnacks.com, and if you use the promo code Grizzly #1 at checkout, you get a discount. And yeah, I mean, he's a definitely been a big supporter. He's been a big part of what we're doing here. Matter of fact, at the event that we were at yesterday, he showed up. He bought some beef jerky. He bought some salsa matcha. He helped us
Mm-hmm.
take down the setup. And I want to give him a shout out too, because he's been he's been there, and he's been very supportive. And from the bottom of my heart, he's the the closest things that I've had to a brother since, I didn't mention this earlier, but since my brother passed away last year, he's the closest thing I've had to a brother. So big shout out to my friend Michael.
Okay. Okay. Sorry to hear that. Talking about career growth, for the individuals who may be seeking a career, or so you're already mingling with the youth and all that and volunteering in the community and stuff. What would be your advice for somebody who's looking to become a vendor and or a food vendor in particularly, and somebody who's just trying to start a general business that you would be sort of like a given a mentorship to?
I would say, um, honestly, know your market would be a big one. Uh, and if you are going to go into a market that let's say, and just throwing random things out here, if there's a vendor market that you're going to, and there's already 6 or 7 vendors selling one item, a specific item, and you're trying to go into business, you don't really want to put yourself in a position where you're competing with 6 or 7 vendors unless you have something different. So make sure that your product is I'm trying to find the word, but so that there's something different about your product. You know, make sure you know your market, what type of trends they like, and also, I think a big part of choosing what business you want to do is make sure that you like or have a connection with your business. A lot of people, and we've talked about it on the show, on the podcast. A lot of people go into business because they want to make money, and I mean, I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with it, but when you go into business because you're doing something that you love, it's different. Like I mentioned, this beef jerky business is not something that I went into thinking, oh, I'm gonna turn this into a business. I like beef jerky. I like making beef jerky. I like eating beef jerky. I made some. I shared it with some people. They liked it. So for me, this is not. This is almost like a hobby. And after we do events and there's a little bit of beef jerky left over, yeah, I'll open up a bag and I'll eat it myself. Because I like my product. I like what I do. So that's a big thing. I would say number one, find something that you like to do, because if it's something that you like to do, it'll be easier for you to. It won't be a work. It won't necessarily be work. If it's something that you like to do, you'll do it as a hobby. They always say find 3 hobbies. One that brings you health, one that brings you money, one that brings you knowledge. But if you can find one hobby that satisfies all of those three, you're set. I like what I do. It's a hobby that with time it'll keep me a little healthier. But I'm out there, moving around and loading and unloading into my truck and going to events, talking to people, moving around. So in a way, I'm being active. I'm being healthy. I like it's a hobby where that keeps me builds my mind, because I'm constantly researching how to make this business better. What kind of licenses do I need to do or get? How can I make my product better? What next product can I bring in? How do I compare with other businesses that do the same? How do I compare with the big brands that they can sell the same bag for $2 less? What do I have that's different, right? And also, I would say network and get as much knowledge as you can from other people. Nobody's born knowing everything, but you can always learn a lot. And don't put yourself in a position where you think, oh, I don't need to listen to what this 60-year-old vendor next to me has to say, because they have to say something, and most of the time it's going to be something that you don't necessarily know. Or what can I learn from this 16-year-old selling next to me? There's always something, because like I mentioned earlier, the experiences that they have gone through are not the same experiences that you have gone through. So find something that you like and make that your product. Always network and always be learning, willing to learn from other people. uh, I would say financial responsibility. Make sure that you are putting back into your business before you go out and I don't know, before you go out and buy yourself that new pair of sneakers, before you go out and buy yourself an expensive dinner. Make sure that you have enough money in your business to take care of the next event, or take care of the next order. If you're going to be employing people, make sure that you have enough money in your business to take care of those people that are helping you. Because at the end of the day, if they're not there, how are you going to take care of things? You got to take care of your people so that they can take care of your business. And so we talked about find the product, network and learn, take care of your people, and always look for innovation. Always look for innovation. What can I do better? What can I how can I differentiate my business? For us, it was Cali, that little key that key that key part of our business. Once we brought in Cali and we started doing samples, everything just kind of turned around for us. So that would be my advice. And I might have missed a couple of things here and there, but from what I can think of right now, that's the advice that I would share.
No, that was great. That was great. I mean, that was that every time I hear people that are saying stuff like that, you're thinking about the things that you have went through, and you're giving it from your perspective of what you've been through, your experiences, and how you've learned and how you progress. I mean, that makes it even more of a valuable statement than I mean, just trying to say something you think people want to hear. I mean, these are things that they're gonna need to know. And when you progress in this business, and being a vendor, yeah, there's a lot of challenges, and budgeting and knowing your product, and knowing the dynamics of where you're going to as a vendor. I mean, dude, like you said, if they have, 10 other beef jerky guys there, what I mean, or three other people that's doing beef jerky, how are you going to set yourself apart from them and make them still look at you like, okay, well, I see them there, but I want to go over to this guy because I'm drawn to what I'm seeing. Your image, your display. That a lot of people we had watched one time. Um, Keith has went out and done interviews with people at the vending shows and say, hey, let me talk to you. I mean, hey, let me get a card from you. And sometimes if you look at them, we don't usually post the ones that are just sitting there, but sometimes you see ones and they're just sitting there, hoping that somebody walks in there and says, hey, I want to look at your stuff, versus being the person that's out there and watching somebody walk by and say, hey, come check me out. That's different than just sitting there, being on your phone, not really even paying attention to what's going on, just hoping somebody walks by, versus being out there in interaction with the public and trying to draw in people and saying, hey, like, you need to come check me out. You need to come check me out, just like you're doing with the little Cali thing. So that's definitely is setting you apart, because they see that, yeah, they draw that into it, versus the person who might be next to you, or the two booths down, who's just sitting there for some reason. Something's going on that's more important on their phone than being at the vendor event trying to get some customers to buy their stuff. You know what I mean? So that was definitely valuable and impactful. And so, okay, the last thing I have, and then we're gonna pass it on to Keith when closing, is give us another quick shout out, more in depth detail in about how to contact you. What your business is, and and just give yourself that plug.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks again for letting me come in the show and share my craft with you guys and all our viewers. You can always find us at CaliforniaSnacks.com. Here's our website right now on the screen. Again, my name is Sam DeLucio. I'm the founder, and we also have our Instagram page. This is El California Snacks. It's how you can find us, and you can order on our website. You can send me a private message on El California, or you can go on our link tree right here, which will give you a listing of some of the products that we have. I will be updating this as well. Some of our products, they're limited edition. For example, the pineapple habanero and the smoky fuego. We make them every now and then. They're sort of not seasonal, but they are limited time edition products. But if you guys are interested and you say, I want to get the smoky fuego, it's not listed on your website at the moment. It's not listed on social media at the moment. We can always we can make that batch for you. We can take care of your order if that's what you like. We're here to serve you basically. You can always contact us at via email elcalifornia.snacks@outlook.com, and my phone number is also listed right there if you want to text, if you want to give us a call at 909-258-5103. For our customers, if you If you want to reach out and place an order, you can do it that way. If you're hosting a vendor event, definitely reach out to us. We'd love to get involved. If you're hosting as I mentioned before, if you're doing uh, maybe a toy drive or a community cleanup or anything like that, if you're an organization that does things like that, definitely reach out to me. I'd love to get involved with you guys as well. Tree plantings or anything like that, we definitely. It's what I do for my work too. So we can definitely find a way to work around the schedules, but we definitely want to get involved with you guys as well. And that's some of the ways that you can contact me: our website, our Instagram, uh, email lcalifornia.snacks at outlook.com, or you can give me a text or call 909-258-5103.
All right.
Hey, hey,
Key.
hey, man.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on, sir. Mhm.
Yeah, I like to give you an opportunity also to talk about some things that we haven't mentioned. Talk about some things that maybe you have not, the questions we've asked didn't really address something you like to get out to the public or you like to get out regarding your business. Take a moment to discuss some things that maybe you would love to get out that we may have not asked.
Well, so, we are a family business. We are a small business. We're located in Beaumont, California. Um, I think we covered a lot of information. To be honest, I you guys asked your questions were amazing. I definitely had a great time answering and kind of processing on the go, and sharing some of the information that we have. But yeah, I mean, our business is here. We're not planning on going anywhere. We're hoping to grow. Uh, we're a business that cares about our communities. We like to get involved with you guys. We're a business that is proud of our product. I, we bring it to you because it's something that we would share with our families, so we want to share with your families as well. Um, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't have I gave you guys the whole enchilada, as they say. You got to know me.
All
This
right.
is
And you know what?
California is.
It's great to get to know you, man, because like I say, when you had that hat on, man, you look a whole lot different now, man. You was scary, man. I was like, man, got that cowboy hat. It's tilted. It was tilted all down and everything, and I was like, oh my god, man. He was up there selling that beef jerky. I'm like, man, I was like, let's get this guy on the show, man. And you know what? We really appreciate you. We can't tell you how much we enjoyed the conversation. We will hope that you come back on the show and we can see what upgrades that you're doing, what some of the new things you got coming out, how your business is growing, and let's promote and get that out too. Do you have any vending events that you got coming up right now that you could plug?
Yeah, so we have. Let me give you pull out my phone real quick and give you some information on some of the stuff that we have coming up. So next Saturday, the 27th, we have an event, and it is a local market, a local makers market, Saturday, July 27th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this is going to be hosted at 1831 West North Park Boulevard in San Bernardino. It's over by the Cal State University San Bernardino, and it is hosted by the Glen and Denise Fernandez, which is another vendor. That's going to be coming up on the 27th. And we also have another market coming up. We're kind of building our agenda for next month on the go as well. So we also have the Nerd Herd Group vendor event, and this is going to be on. Give me 1 second. Get you that information. So this is going to be on August 10th, and it's going to be at 1034 West Arrow Highway in San Dimas, California. And this is going to be from 5 to 9 p.m. We are so excited about this event, guys, because uh, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I don't know if you could tell, But this event is like a Harry Potter event. It's a Lord of the Rings event and a Star Wars event. So we're hoping to get Callie a cloak or something to wear for the Lord of the Rings, and we'd like to see. We're trying to see if we can develop maybe like a special edition Lord of the Rings BFP, something new and exciting for our customers. It's still in the works. I don't want to promise anything, but that's our goal is to have something to bring to that event specifically. So that's what we have right now. We're still looking, like I said, we're building our agenda for August, and hopefully we can get a couple more events going on.
Hey man, thank you so much, and we're so grateful that you came on the KF&JF podcast. Is we get we learn so much, man, and you just make us smarter, and you make us um, stronger too, because I think the information that you're providing to our viewers and the audience out there makes us all stronger in this network that we're trying to build.
Thank you again. I am so glad that you guys gave me the opportunity. KF&J's podcast is definitely something. It's definitely my first podcast. I'll tell you that, and I'm very excited, very happy that you guys took that time to reach out to me and put this together, and just being able to share the information and learn from you guys, and it's been amazing. And thank you, and I'll definitely if you guys send another invite, I'm definitely coming back and share a little more.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Right on.